Ioana Baalbaki, and she will speak about folklore as a source of inspiration in Myriam Marbé's composition.
Thank you very much. When I first thought about this topic, I didn't know how difficult it will be to get into the creation of Myriam Marbé, as she is one of our avant-garde composers. So I took actually a historical approach, while the analytical one is still in work. It's work in progress, and you will see at the end of my presentation that I discovered some of the structure and the important ideas, but it's not a final approach. As I said, I started with a historical approach, trying to understand the need of our composers to get connected to the folklore, the Romanian folklore, and why this happened. In a cultural space like Romania's, strongly anchored in tradition and with a rich musical culture heritage, directing the attention of composers and researchers towards traditional music and using it as a source of inspiration was and still is one of our surest paths to the originality and uniqueness of that a creator seeks. Moreover, the interest in folklore and its promotion in the context of affirming national identity, a characteristic feature of musical romanticism, was also noted in Romania with the emergence of National School of Composition in the second half of 19th century. During that period, both musicians and other people of culture began to collect folklore melodies and texts from different regions of Romania, while composers exploited them in different genres, from instrumental suites, chamber works, of course, some symphonic, operettas, and operas. You have here a list of important musicians, some composers, others researchers, that during the 19th century collected Romanian music and used it in their composition. In 1864, two music conservatories opened in Romania, the first two in Iași and Bucharest, and the emergence of local music education, also the creation of national music, will be the main focus of the newly students, mainly during the 7th and 8th decades of 19th century. Therefore, we will see the creation of the first national ouverture, the first national opera, the first symphonic, and some of the pieces all related to Romanian tunes. At the beginning, the Romanian tunes were not traditional peasant music. There were more city music. There were more music played by lăutar or by musicians during events during dances or meetings. Only with the beginning of the late 19th century, with Dimitrie Georgescu Chiriac, who was a rector of the Iași Conservatory and who understood the importance of peasant music, a systematic approach in collecting folklore music started. So it was at the end of 19th century to the beginning of 20th century. Also at the beginning of 20th century, two personalities close to or linked to Romania, to Romanian space, whose career and recognition reach universality or internationality, became fundamental models for the National Composition School of 20th century Romania. Both sought to outline a distinctive compositional language, and both, in totality, in totally different ways, turned to folklore as a model of and source of inspiration. What is interesting about these two personalities is that they were two composers born in the same year, in a closely geographical sphere, which today is Romania, but at that time was not yet Romania. They were both born in 1881, and they became so much attached to Romanian music that, of course, they promoted it in their creation. And the first one, it's Béla Bartók, the Hungarian composer who not only composed a lot of music inspired by the music he collected, but also promoted Romanian music, and we will see in which way. So Béla Bartók, I said 1881. He was born in Nok-Szent Miklós, which today is Romania, but at that time was Austria-Hungarian Imperium. We call it the region Banat. He had the chance to be born and grow in a multicultural environment. It was a place where Hungarians, Romanians, Serbs. Later, he moved to Ukrainian region and Slovak region, so he had the chance to enter in contact with so many different traditional music and so many languages that he understood the value and the beauty of and the diversity of the traditional music, and he wanted to exploit, to use it in his own creation. After studying in the Royal Conservatory of Budapest, finishing classes in piano and composition, he began his campaign of collecting music with his friend Zoltán Kodály, first in the region of Transylvania, in Romania, nowadays Romania. At that time it was still the Austrian-Hungarian Imperium. First they wanted to collect Hungarian songs, but in the villages where which they visited, they discovered that population was mixed. There were families of Hungarians, Romanians, Slovak. So Bartók started to collect more, not just, but more other ethnic people, while Kodály collected Hungarian music, mainly Hungarian music. Therefore, in 1908, he started to collect music, also Romanian music, and understood the value of this creation, this music. So between 1908 to 1917, he pursued more campaigns, first in central and northern central Transylvania, and then in Banat region. But later, he undertook campaigns in regions of Turkey, Bulgaria, Ukraine, Serbia, and even in North Africa. We can see that during his campaigns he collected around 11,000 songs, which is a huge amount of music, from which 3,500 songs were of Romanian origin. This means 30% of his collections were Romanian music, which is a great number. Not just that he collected this big amount of songs, but he also worked in publishing and in promoting Romanian music. And the first collection was published in 1930 under Romanian name because he published it with the help of Romanian Academy. And later, 3 other collections were published. The last one, although he prepared it during his life, it was published only after his death. He died in 1945. Bartók didn't stop at collecting music, but he also focused on using the music, promoting the music which he collected by composing a certain amount of music inspired by Romanian composition. So I presented analyze how he capitalized the music which he collected in his classical music compositions. The most simple way of using it was by composing or by arrangements of traditional songs. One of the most famous pieces of his is Romanian folk dances composed for violin and piano and later orchestrated for small ensemble, exactly in his last year of collection of Romanian music, 1917. The work is based on 7 instrumental melodies played on violin or flute. Also in the same year, he composed the choir called Romanian Christmas Carols, in which he uses 20 melodies, 20 carols, traditional songs played during the Christmas. The inspirational for traditional works will not be limited strictly to musical material, but will also consist of collected text. Thus, an elaborated work whose libretto starts from 2 Romanian carols collected in 1940 is the Cantata Profana, one of his important pieces for voice and orchestra, composed in 1930. The cantata will use carol text, 2 carol texts, Romanian carol texts, which he translated in Hungarian and later in English, which he considered of being of most valuable artistic importance. The importance of Béla Bartók in context of Romanian folklore consists of several aspects: collecting and saving traditional Romanian melodies that became valuable sources of inspiration for him, but also for the following generation of composers, which we'll see in our next chapters. Secondly, the invention of an extremely precise notation system for an international and rhythmic point of view, a system that he perfected over time and whose evolution can be traced between Romanian folk music in Bihor, the first collection he published, and the last one, Romanian folk music of 1967, which will also influence Romanian ethnomusicology and Romanian composer school. He also invented a complex system of classifying the songs, and he valorized the traditional music within the framework of cultural creation, thus promoting Romanian musical heritage internationally. Regarding the use of folklore in general, not just the Romanian one, we can understand that Bartók started from simple arrangement of traditional songs to creating an abstract model of use of folklore, extracting the essence of each language, folkloric language, and creating his own patterns. So Bartók not only made an immense amount of musical sources available to composers he collected during his collection campaigns, but also offered viable models for using them for the generations to come, which will become reference models for the following generations of Romanian composers. Although Bartók had a systematic structuralist mind, he left no evidence or sketches regarding the system of compositional thought. The researcher Erno Lendvai, based on the analysis of Baroque music, has extracted a series of harmonic and melodic principles that he considered fundamental to the Hungarian composer's music, which will become also models for Romanian compositional school. First of all, the broadening of the tonal function system by integrating modal concepts, the use of symmetry and golden section as a structural principle, and building an expanded harmonic system based on the idea of pole and antipole. As for Bartók rhythm, which is also very important, this was less theoretized because of the lack of knowledge of the traditional rhythms of the music from the East Europe at the beginning of 20th century. But later, researchers understood that Bartók had a preference for Aksak rhythm, specific or called also Bulgarian rhythm, the justosyllabic rhythm, and the different kinds of traditional dance rhythms. Bela Bartók's research in Romanian music folklore became a point of reference for Romanian musicians who, in turn, continued the activity of collecting folklore and using it in their composition. The second composer, which was also a source of inspiration for the Romanian avant-garde and for Myriam Marbé's composition, is George Enescu. Born in northern Moldavia in the same year with Bela Bartók, he showed specific talent or a great talent from very young. So he started studying violin and composition in Vienna at the age of 7. Later, after studying in Vienna, he moved to Paris and he studied there further composition and violin. And he was profoundly influenced by the German composers, Romantic composers, and also later by French system. But being related with from youth to the traditional music which he listened in his village, his first composition relates to traditional music, and we can listen a little bit to the poem Rumen, his first composition, his debut as a composer at 16 years old in Paris, a piece that became famous in the first year of hearing, and we will see now why. want to arrive at the place where Enescu it's recreating the song of the shepherds, the improvisational music typical to traditional Romanian music. Maybe I should not push them. Sorry. Compared to Bartók, Enescu did not dedicate himself to collecting folklore. A large part of the traditional music material that he evokes or suggests in his composition is the result of childhood memories. From the period when, living in his native village, he came into contact with the fiddle folklore. During the evolution of his musical language, Enescu developed his own creative conception of modal origin with a strong improvisational flavor, as we just listened, that can easily be linked to the traditional Romanian music, especially the doina genre and the parlando-rubato rhythm. As an example of this is the sweet impression of childhood for violin and piano, where we can easily identify the improvisational character of musical discourse. Even though the melody is metrically framed, the rhythmic structures automatically refers us to the rubato rhythm of the doina. The impression of the childhood, which is a more mature composition, starts with a piece of... Sorry. Was the improvisational style of writing. Also, another characteristic of his music adopted from the traditional music was the use of isono or unisono, like in the prelude from Suite Number 1. And the third characteristic taken from the traditional music, which he also transmitted further to the later avant-garde composers, is the heterophony as a technique of overlapping the melody and its variations, as we can find in the quartet in G major, opus 22. So we have two routes of inspiration for the generation of Romanian avant-garde of the second half of 20th century, which is mainly consisted of men composers like Ștefan Niculescu, who also created the theory of heterophony based on Enescu's composition, Anatol Vieru, Tiberiu Olah, Aurel Stroe, Cornel Țăranu, and Myriam Marbé, the last being the only woman of her generation that was able to make a career and create actually a composition school in Bucharest Conservatory. The first four composers are from, and Myriam Marbé are from Bucharest, the capital of Romania, while Cornel Țăranu created a composition school in Cluj-Napoca, my hometown city. Now, arriving our main team, as we can say, Myriam Marbé, she was a particular appearance in the context of her generation of composers, being the only woman, as I said, in a group of men, but she was not less than the other one. She was very creative, she was very strong, and we can imagine her like Nadia Boulanger from Paris. Of course, on a smaller level, as Romania is smaller than France. As a female composer and the creator of a school of composition, she left her mark on several generations of composers, strangely, most of them women as well. From 1955 to 1988, she was a teacher of the Bucharest Conservatory, where she formed a constellation of composers like Violeta Dinescu, Mihaela Vosganian, Maia Ciobanu, Speranța Rădulescu, all even today famous as composers in Romania. She had the chance to study in Darmstadt, where she was in contact with the modern techniques of composition, and she was performing in Europe in some festivals, mainly female music festivals. She was invited in the female music festivals, mainly in Germany. But arriving at her sources of inspiration, in an interview from 1991, she declared her contact and relation to Bartók's music that she entered in contact while being a student in composition and while seeing the microcosmos, his piano music composition. She discovered the possibilities of making polyrhythms, and that's why she wrote a small didactic composition for piano with polyrhythm problems, which we'll discuss immediately. She would pay also attention to Enescu's, both as a student and later as a researcher. Enescu, as she listened during her students' years, was becoming one of the main sources of inspiration for Romanian School of Composition, especially after his death in 1955, when the communist regime made him an idol. Because folklore music was such an important thing, such an important theme for the communist regime. But because of the regime, while she prepared the study, she was censorship by the Iron Curtain of her text not to speak about the 12 forbidden semitones while writing about the string quartet number 2 by Enescu. So she researched and she published on Enescu, and she was also influenced by his stylistic compositional style. She will compose predominantly for small ensemble in various instrumental and vocal combination, often upon request and or with dedication. She will be interested in words and speech as a mean of expression, which will become a generative and characteristic element in numerous works of her lifetime. And regarding my team, my research team, I choose 3 pieces, actually this is a cycle of pieces, the piano pieces from 1962, which is related to Bartók's microcosmos. It's a method of studying the piano and composition. like Microcosmos by Bartók, consisting of 98 short pieces. Among them, maybe this piece is the most related to real folklore, to actual music, because it uses 17 pieces from 4 collections. First of them, the Bihor's collection by Bela Bartók, 4 songs, 6 songs from George Breazu, 5 songs from Sabrin Drăgoi, and other 7 songs from Cântece și Doine. She uses the melodies to represent folkloric modes, polymodalism, polytonality, modal harmony, polyrhythms, or polyphonic composition. Unfortunately, although it's a very interesting method of pian, it's not anymore in use, and there are no recordings of the piece. Of course, many of the pieces are simple compositions, so are used for children. Therefore, it's not of interest in playing it in concerts. It's more interested in using it as a technique or as a study. Another piece related to folk, but not a folkloric melody, but more folklore suggestion, is The Rite for the Thirst of Earth, composed in 1968, which became maybe one of the most known pieces by Myriam Marbé, as it was first played in Zagreb Biennale with the Madrigal choir, the most important choir from Romania. It's an improvisational composition based on a tradition of calling for the rain. It uses 6 folklore texts, among them the Kaloyan, which is a representation of a human body, usually thrown in water or put under earth to ask for rain to come. In this composition, Myriam Marbé is alternating improvisational text speaking with moments of music clarity, and I want to put a short example. Unfortunately, we don't have a visual recording which would show also the theatrical movement of the piece. The last piece which I analyze is Descântec, which means disenchantment. It's a rite against black magic used mainly for children, to protect children of the black eye. It's a piece for wind quintet, and we can hear at the beginning of the music also very improvisatoric, a lot of oiseau style in the specific for Myriam Marbé, but also helps us to think about Olivier Messiaen oiseau style. At the beginning, we have a short melodic theme in justo rhythm, which take us to think about a melody of folkloric melody. And we see the preference for special intervals like the minor, the semitone, the tone, and the third minor, which are intervals we mainly found in the traditional music of Romania. Contemporary written material. So, of course, this material from the bassoon will come further in composition as a place of calm or of relaxation, melodic relaxation. With this, I'm thanking you for the patience, and I wait for questions.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for showing us two roots, main roots of Romanian Composers School, Bartók and Enescu, and absolutely amazing music of Myriam Marbé. We have not time, but maybe a short question. Maybe I will try to ask you about Darmstadt and folk music. What is the way to combine two quite another aesthetics?
Yes, the most difficult thing for Romanian composers. Many of the composers from avant-garde went to Darmstadt. Mm-hmm. They tried to learn new stylistic techniques and then introduce them in Romanian techniques while using folklore. This is a very impressive way of hiding modern compositions technique from Darmstadt while using folklore.
And the musical examples you showed us are so fresh, so amazing, so modern. So this is the way how to combine two
different worlds.
Yes. Thank you, Ioana, very much.
Thank you.
And now I would like to invite Alina Stan. Alina Stan will speak about ethnomusicological field research in Făgăraș County, southern Transylvania, Romania, carried out in 2023-24. A zatem tym razem przenosimy się w obszar badań etnomuzykologicznych, terenowe badania we Făgăraș, Rumunia, Południowa Transylwania, lata 2023-2024. Bardzo proszę. Muszę tylko Państwu powiedzieć, że ja już doskonale o tym wiem, ponieważ rozmawiałyśmy w przerwie z Aliną Stan. My zastanawiamy się, czy badamy folklor, czy badamy jakieś jego relikty, czy palimpsesty być może. Natomiast panie z Cluj-Napoca jeżdżą na badania terenowe i badają muzykę tradycyjną cały czas, a zatem zazdrościmy. You don't have house dances, you don't have renew folklore, you have traditional music, so we are jealous. Please.
Thank you, Barbara, and I'm so glad to be here. Thank you so much for the opportunity also to be here this year, and thank you to being here. And I'm so glad to present you my new project. 2 years ago, in the summer of 2033, I gathered all my courage and knowledge and initiated a field research in Făgăraș County, located in southern Transylvania, an area in the heart of Romania. as you can see on the map. Făgăraş County is enclosed between the Olt River and the Făgăraş Mountains, a massif that is part of the Southern Carpathian and includes 8 peaks over 2,500 meters high. The French scientist Emmanuel de Marton referred to this massif as the Transylvanian Alps. Why I am interested in this area? This region attracted significant attention nearly 100 years ago when the first monographic research campaign was conducted there in 1929 by Dimitrie Gusti, a world-renowned ethnologist. The campaign, which took place in the village of Drăguș, took only a few village from Romania, resulted in the first silent sociological movie. And I invite you to watch together a few moments that illustrate the village life. It's silent. The village life. You will see also the specific animals like black buffaloes, you can see also the field works. They are taking dinner here. More animals. Here they are going harvest in the summer. Researcher interviewing locals on phonograph. Here is Constantin Brăiloiu. And Dimitrie Gusti. And we can see also a traditional wedding. Since then, ethnological and ethnographic research on folk custom, tradition, and traditional custom has been published. You can see here a list with various studies and their years of appearance, of publication. The first ethnomusicological research was carried out by Constantin Brăiloiu in the beginning on the 1930s, although the musical material was not published. After 1990s, after our revolution, collection of carols were published by local researchers, including Ion Funariu, a well-known priest from this area. Sound documents recorded in the Făgăraș area can be found in two important archives. The Sound Archive of the Institute of Ethnography and Folklore in Bucharest, which is the oldest institution of its kind in the country. It brings together the Phonogrammic Archive, founded in 1927, and the Folklore Archive of the Romanian Composers Society, founded in 1928, both coordinated by Constantin Brăiloiu. Unfortunately, we do not have access to those sound documents at the moment. And the second, Musée d'Ethnographie de Genève, Switzerland, and you can see in the middle, Constantin Brăiloiu sound recording collection. From 1944 to 1958, the year of his death, the Romanian musicologist gathered an important sound archive collection here, consisting of more than 3,000 recordings. Those include his own field works documents, mainly of Romanian origin, as well as others from exchanges with his colleagues and specialized institutions around the world. On the museum website, there are 5 discs with melodies from the Făgăraș area. I started this field research campaign together with a very talented together from our Academy, Grațiela Blaga. This photo was taken on our first day in the field. So far, we have conducted 3 field research campaigns. In the summer, August, and winter, November of 2033, and last summer in August 2034. In this tree campaign, we visit around 50 villages marked with a red dot on the map. So as you can see, these villages are between the old river marked with blue and the mountains with red. So they are enclosed in this region. The research is not finished yet. I estimate that we will visit another 20 villages this summer to complete the area. We have already recorded nearly 800 melodies. This musical material includes all folk genres: lullabies, bride ritual song, going to the army songs, harvest and ritual, funeral ritual songs, laments, carols, old-style song, and even dance melodies. And you can see here the number of the melody of each genre. In addition to this traditional genre, we also recorded musical production of an intellectual nature, such as romance, Romanian and Saxon choral works, as well as religious musical production. And now I propose you that we listen to some illustrative example of this folk genre. The bride ritual song, most commonly encountered by us today, was also recorded by Constantin Brăiloiu in 1937. Why 1937? Because to ensure the best possible technical condition, he brought the people from the village to record them at the Folklore archive in Bucharest, not in the field, in the villages. So these two recordings demonstrate the continuity of the genre over time, even though traditional weddings have not been practiced in the area for almost 30 years. I invite you to listen the bride ritual song recorded in 1937 by Constantin Brăiloiu. By us in 2033, and the both are from the same village, Drăguș.
Ia mireasă ziua bună de la tată, de la mamă, de la frați, de la surori, de la grădina cu flori.
The following example is a ritual harvest song. In South Transylvania, here in Făgăraș, there is a unique song from a literary perspective. Unlike other songs that describe the work being done, this one raised a dispute between the sister of the sun and the sister of the wind, as they argue over which of their brother is more important. This is a mythological theme also found in other genres like carols, ballad, and so on. We will listen a recording made by Constantin Brăiloiu in the same year, 1937. The same melody in the same village almost 100 years ago.
Dealul Moholului
dealul mohului, umbra snopului. Cine se umbrea, cine se umbrea și se sfătuia, sora soarelui, sora soarelui și cu vântului.
She forgot the lyrics. It's no problem. Then occasional lyrics express a wide range of emotion. Those melodies are sung by everyone at any moment in life. We have recorded ballads, old-style song, modern-style song, and mainly dance melody in their characteristic regional style. I propose that we listen to an old-style song, like expressing the love and missing someone, from an exceptional informant who sang more than 30 songs for us, Aurelia Dobrilă, 75 years old.
Dorule, câine bolum. Așa, asta e cântare de alumni.
O știți?
Asta, da.
Eu ziceți?
Cum să nu?
Dorule câine bolum. Dorule câine bolum.
Dorule câine bolum. Dorule câine bolându, dorule câine bolând, nu mă îmbătrâni curând. Dar mă lasă-n fraiul meu, dar mă lasă-n fraiul meu, să îmbătrânesc când vreau eu.
Very good mood. And now let's go to the modern style. Was formed in the first decade of the 20th century. In this area, over time, the Saxon community was one of the most important cohabitant ethnic groups, with significant influences on social, economic, and cultural life. From a musical point of view, songs with tonal function influences, melodies sung in groups, also appeared in the repertoire of the Romanians. I invite you to listen to a march. This is a typical melody, German melody, which is a party song full of good cheers. In the end, they say they will good cheers with the bottles of the wine. This recording was made at 12 o'clock in the night. I don't know if you can see the bottle on the table, but there was a bottle of wine. So the following examples recorded in the field are of intellectual nature, and we will discuss the folklorization of some author's creation. A few words about this folklorization. Usually we spoke about folklorization when a composer used or took some line, some melody from the folklore and insert them in their creation. In this case, in these villages of Făgăraș, the people from the villages take some melody from intellectual creation and integrate them in their lives. And we will see how. At the beginning of the 20th century, there was a large choral movement among the peasants of southern Transylvania. More or less, musical literate people were taught to sing in choirs in several voices. This is not typical for us. We sing only on one voice. This was also the case in the villages of Făgăraș, where we recorded such songs from the peasants who said they were taught at school and had no formal musical education. So, the first example is a choral composition by the composer and conductor of choral music Nicolae Oancea from the first half of the 20th century. Let's hear the melody. Sorry. The first one.
Trandafir de pe cetate, trandafir frumos, spune-i badei sănătate, trandafir frumos, garofiță din cunună, garofița mea, spune-i badei voie bună, garofița mea.
These people from Ucea de Sus village, they have only the lyrics and also some brandy.
Trandafir frumos, spune-i badei sănătate, trandafir frumos, garofiță din cunună, garofița mea, spune-i badei voie bună, garofița mea. Ce-ți mândroașa zorită, trandafir frumos, în căsuța văruită, trandafir frumos, ți-e scuzor la pânză deasă, garofița mea, că vine badea acasă, garofița mea.
Due to the circulation of mass media, appearance of the television, especially in the second half of the 20th century, the rural environment appropriated a repertoire taken from established performance from various areas of the country. We will listen to a romance, a genre that appears in the Middle Ages and spread across all European countries. In Romania, there is already a tradition of the romance being a very popular and beloved genre. Thus, the peasants took over these songs and interpreted them in their own style. The different metrical category, for example, 10 syllables instead of 8 syllables, and literary content denote their intellectual origin. I invite you to listen a song by a very famous Romanian singer, Irina Login, very known in Romania. And the song is about a king who wants to marry, like a metaphor, a nightingale. Let's hear it.
Într-o grădină încântătoare, un fiu de rege sta și asculta.
Opa.
Pe o micuță privighetoare, ce sta într-un câmp și se distra. Pe o micuță privighetoare, ce sta într-un câmp și se distra.
The people from the village love these songs. And now the same melody collected by us last summer from the village Sâmbăta de Sus.
Care prin ador se
Okay. Like I've said, this research is not finished. I will continue it this summer. And I consider this also like a moral duty because we still do not have a musical collection from this folklore-rich area. Like I've said, in 2000, in our time, I have collected almost 800 melodies. It's also intellectual music, but the majority is folkloric music. And I think it's very important to collect this music and leave this to the students and who wants to listen this music. And I thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, dear Alina, for your interesting presentation. For the musical examples, I think people in Poland, in village, will sing Donato and Clear. I hope not. Okay. Not all the people. Okay. So I would like to ask you, for the beginning, you told us that Konstantin Brajlov, almost 100 years ago, collected the people from the same area in which you are today. But he invited them to the archive, yes? Yes. Do you have any earlier documents, any earlier transcription of music before Konstantin Brajlov?
No.
Because I'm interested if songs, if ballads, if carols are changing or are they the same? Because we have 150 years or 200 years constance in folk tradition. So the material from 19 years is quite the same. Are are in 21st century?
Can be and no, because in the second half the things are changing very, very much. So Bela Bartók was also in this area, but in Romanian folk music, in Addenda, there are only 3 melodies. This is not significant. This melody from Brailoiu collection, there are sound documents. They are in Geneva, but they are also in our archive in Bucharest. But like I've said, we don't have access to this music. I hope in the future this material it will be a disposal for the researcher. So in this moment in Romania are for the public only the recording from the Musée d'Ethnographie de Genève. We don't have no collection from this area. Mm-hmm. And comparing to other regions, the music we can consider 2 years ago was the same also in the first part of the 20th century. But after the second half of the 20th century, when the radio and television appears, also in this area which is from more direction, because Făgăraș is in the center of Romania. And people come also from Moldavia, from Bucharest, from Banat, from all directions. It's like a point of changing direction. And people always assimilate new music. They have a lot of appetite for modern music, also for modern clothes. Always the people from the villages want to be modern and beautiful and at the time.
And another music is now popular, more popular than the old songs. Okay, thank you. When Karol Szymanowski was in Switzerland, he wrote that mountaineers all over the world has the same songs. You show us some songs from Carpathia. Polish mountaineers sings quite different, yes? Yes, okay.
But if I can add only one sentence, like I've said also last year, as you can see, my informants are very, very old. Of course, in the villages are people of different ages, but only from 1780s, 90s, the people still know this melody because they are not to practice this music nowhere. Because only I go there and ask him, do you still know a bright ritual song? Yes, I sing it 50 years ago. And they still remember, but they are not practiced anymore, this music.
And about next generations?
They don't know this music.
So this is the last moment you can record.
Record it in this kind, because it's also a new wave or something like this, because the youngest want to revive this folk tradition, and they like to wear a traditional costume or to hear this music. And also in Făgăraș, the younger wants to practice this music, but they add changes and they do their own apport to this music.
Thank you, Alina, very much.
Thank you.
Ja przepraszam, że zabrałam tyle czasu. Może ktoś z Państwa jeszcze chciałby zadać pytania? Dziękuję bardzo. Zapraszam teraz naszą trzecią referentkę. Jest nią pani Larisa Prună. Będzie opowiadała również o badaniach etnograficznych, o badaniach folklorystycznych, ale tym razem przenosimy się do Maramureş. Usłyszymy, jakie są najnowsze ustalenia i perspektywy badawcze. Ethnographic and Folklore Research in the Chioar Area, the territory of the Stone Fortress in Maramureş, achievements and perspectives.
Hello everyone. I'm glad to be present at this conference and to have the opportunity to share with you one of my research projects in the field of Romanian musical folklore. Discovery, collection, and research are three key concepts that mark the path toward understanding folklore, the archaic folk culture that has coexisted and evolved alongside modern and urban culture. The discovery of folklore culture, whether directly or indirectly, is a consequence of the discovery of the people as a social category. This presentation, entitled Ethnographic and Folklore Research in the Chioar Area, the territory of the Stone Fortress in Maramureş, Achievements and Perspectives, aims revolves around two keywords, discovery and research. This presentation offers us a perspective on the musical folklore of a region that has not been researched until now. Over time, in the geographical area inhabited by Romanian population, several historical regions have taken shape. On this map of Romania, we can observe the historical regions, among which Maramureş is also included. This is located in the north of Romania. Maramureş County can be ethnographically divided into four regions, each distinguished by its own folkloric and musical elements. On this map of Maramureş County, we can observe the borders of the four ethnofolkloric regions. Codru, this is Codru area, Chioar area, Lăpuș area, and historic Maramureş area. And we talk about this area, Chioar. Unlike the other ethnofolkloric regions of Romanian territory, we can say that Chioar is a geographical historical entity that is more difficult to individualize, its genesis and evolution taking place in a complex framework. In the present case, we are talking about a region that crystallized around a fortress, the stone fortress, we can see in the picture, or Chioar fortress, a famous fortification located on the middle, of course, of the Lăpuș River. The first document mention of the name in the form castrum Chioar, the Latinized version of the Hungarian name Chioar, meaning stone fortress. In 1718, the fortress was demolished, but in memory of the inhabitants, the demolition of the fortress lasted a long time. It is said that people took the stone from which the fortress was built to make their own baking ovens. Scientific research currently has numerous data on the evolution over time of Romanian folklore over large area, but there are still lands such as Chioar, where representative collection and studies are missing, which would help to better understand and identify the particularities of the area. In the table below, I have included 10 important studies of the Chioar region. Upon reviewing these case studies on Chioar Area, I observed that in the field of musical folklore research, such as collection, melody transcriptions, and analytical studies, there is no published work to date. For this reason, this particular dimension has remained waiting to be discovered and brought to the light. In 2022, I successfully completed one of the most significant research projects, highlight the musical particularities of Chioar. The work is entitled Non-Specific Lyrical Poetry in Chioar Area, is structured in two parts. In this work, I capitalized throat transcription and musical analysis 435 vocal songs belonging to the non-occasional lyric. In the first part, I focused on the theoretical aspects of the musical material, and in the second part, I introduced the collection of songs. Currently, this work is only in Romanian language. The English version is being edited, and I hope it will appear soon. The work also includes two appendices. The first consists of a table with general data about the musical material, the title of song, the genre, who sing, who recorded from the field, the year of collection. And the second presents a map of Chioar Area, highlighting the village where musical folklore collections were conducted. Within the Institute of Folklore Archive, Romanian Academy, Cluj branch, I identified a unique material which deserved to be exploited and not remain only at the stage of gathering from the field. We are talking about a number of 600 vocal songs that we extracted from 17 catalogs ordered by certain periods. The first catalog being from 1950. The original musical materials were recorded on magnetophone tapes, each with a duration of approximately 50 minutes, requiring the individual identification of every musical example. The material was collected between 1958 and 1980 by prominent researchers working in Baia Mare and Cluj-Napoca, as well as their disciples. Ioana Stan, Nicolae Bot, Iliana Senic, and Virgil Medan. I transcribed the entire collection into musical notation and subjected it to structural analysis, performing a systematic examination of the whole corpus from the perspective of 5 parameters: versification, rhythm, melody, structure, architectonic, and ornamentation. Following this, I proceeded to classify the material typologically. After the initial listening of all songs, I divided the musical material in two main categories. The first category includes songs that stylistically belong to Chioar Area, characterized by a set of unique musical traits, resulting 316 songs from the non-occasional repertoire: old style, modern style, and vocal dance songs. The classification, in this case, relied primarily on experience and intuition. The second category contains 119 songs that are less uniform, standing out through specific feature. This can be grouped as follows: the song of or about the army, songs in the Aksak rhythm system, songs with two rhythm systems, popular romance, and folklorized songs. These were aided, learned, and passed on by men doing military service in other regions or received via mass media. I would like to direct my attention to some particularities of the old style songs that stylistically belong to the Chioar Area. The old style is characterized by the execution of parlando rubato. Depending on the regional interpretation style, the melody abounds in ornament. The form is strophic and presupposes the presence of a strongly outlined cadence system, having importance both in establishing the internal relation of the form and in outlining the melodic types. We will listen to a fragment of the song Munte, Munte, Brad Frumos. If I can. No. Can we please? I don't see the course.
Munte, munte, bra frumos, măi. Munte, munte, bra frumos, măi. Pleacă-ți vărăful mai în jos, măi. Să mă zăie în vârful tău, măi. Să mă zăie în vârful tău, măi. Să mă uită în satul meu, măi.
Modern style songs have a measured rhythm and are almost devoid of ornamentation. Within the stanza frequently appear proper refrain with text or neutral syllable or supporting refrains. The form of modern style song is varied, starting from melodic three-line stanza to amplified architectural structure. We will listen to a fragment of the song Luați feciori seama bine.
Luați feciorii seama bine, luați feciorii seama bine, să nu pățâți ca și mine, Linoleano, dragă Leano. Când îți mere la pețit, când îți mere la pețit, nu locomniți la avut, Linoleano, dragă Leano.
The The main characteristic of vocal dance songs is the measured rhythm within the divisional or justosyllabic systems. Metrically and rhythmically, the verses are tetrapodic, 7 or 8 syllables. The melodies of vocal dance songs, throughout their interval leaps and large ambitus, demonstrate their origins in instrumental dance music. We will listen to a fragment of the song Măi bărbate, fii cu minte.
Măi bărbate, fii cu minte, măi bărbate, fii cu minte, e când e pasivă prinde, e când e pasivă prinde, foaie verde de gorun și de alu, și că eu lunea nu lucrez, că eu lunea nu lucrez mai, că mă tem să nu ardez, că mă tem să nu ardez, foaie verde de gorun și de alu.
At the end of my presentation, we conclude that the non-occasional repertoire from the Chioar Area presents musical features that highlight the local specificity. This collection of songs has a positive role in stimulating the research activity and artistic valorization of the folklore of this area. Along with the numerous folklore researchers on the Chioar, I believe that the two scientific materials, the theoretical consideration on the musical repertoire and the collection of songs, are particularly important for the knowledge of the life of the Chioar people. And at the same time, they constitute an important brick laid in the edifice of the traditional, intangible Romanian heritage. Finally, I want to sing one of the most beautiful and archaic song of my collection, because I think it's very important to promote this music. The title of the song is Ba de gura ta izvor. It's a song about love. Și ba de gura ta izvor, măi, ai ba de gura ta izvor, măi, ai nu-i de apă, că-i de dor, măi, nu-i de apă, că-i de dor, măi, ai cine bea apă din ea, măi, ai cine bea apă din ea, măi, ai moare de dragostea te, măi, moare de dragostea te, măi. Thank you for your attention. Thank you very much.
Thank you, dear Larisa, for your presentation and for your singing. Last year, Alina sang a song, yes? Now, this year, Larisa, but we have a surprise because our friend promised us that they will sing for us at the end of this section. I'm so touched that I have no question for you. Maybe someone from our auditory would like to ask our referent. So maybe another way. In the region Chioar have been researched already. Yes.
Yes, I'm the first in musical.
Mm-hmm. So I have a question. In musical. So the fourth researchers you show us, they didn't document music. I would like to ask you if composers are inspired by music from this region. So if you are the first one, there is no possibility we have music, professional music inspired by folk music from Chioar, yes? Not yet.
Not yet. I don't know a composer, but it's possible. I don't know.
I think the material will be ready for a moment, and young composers can listen, can be inspired by music.
Yes, can use this material in their composer.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. And now I would like to introduce Andra Patras with a paper, Ethnomusicological Research in Contemporary Context, an Analytical Perspective and Vocal Traditional Music from the Apuseni Mountains, authored by Ioana Baalbaki. Współczesne konteksty badań etnomuzykologicznych, tradycyjna muzyka wokalna z gór Apuseni w perspektywie analitycznej Ioana Baalbaki. Bardzo prosimy.
First of all, I want to thank again, with the risk that I repeat the same thing, to the organizer for accepting my proposal for this conference. And I'm very glad to be here to represent our institution together with my colleagues. I will start the presentation speaking from two perspectives. First is a subjective perspective or a subjective approach related to the research that I had the privilege to participate as a student at that time, together with Professor Ioana Baalbaki in the region of Apuseni Mountains. And the second perspective will be an objective approach following some important historical points in Romanian ethnomusicology regarding the intangible heritage. About the historical perspective, just few words. Starting with the beginning of 20th century, Romanian ethnomusicologists vehiculate the idea in their various publishes that it is increasingly difficult to collect musical folklore. Some of the personalities who vehiculate these ideas are Constantin Brăiloiu, Tiberiu Alexandru, Gheorghe Ciobanu, Sabin Drăgoi, and others, of course. But I just want to summarize that they address this issue of the loss of authenticity in musical folklore, especially in the context of modernization. They wrote about the evolution of folklore and how traditional forms are influenced or even replaced by modern, more commercialized styles. However, they sounded the alarm at the beginning and middle of the 20th century regarding the importance of collecting musical folklore. In this context, attempting to collect musical folklore in the 21st century may seem like an idea that no longer resonates in the musical and value terms. Some of the hypotheses that immediately offer a negative perspective is the influence of mass media in rural areas. The historical changes in these environments according to current times, the urban thinking that has infiltrated these areas, and so on. For this reason, many researchers believe that the period of folklore correction has come to an end. But, the practice shows us, as also my colleagues already showed you, that even in these times that we live, in some of the areas we can still find traditional music. So in the period between 2010 and 2012, I had the chance, as I already said, as a student, to participate together with Professor Ioana Baalbaki and his team in the fieldwork session organized by him. The field collection, as I said, began in February 2010 and concluded in November 2012, and covered in total 56 villages from 28 communes. I was fortunate to participate in field research in 19 communes. The result of this initiative was completed in 2013 with the publication of the volume Vocal Traditional Music from Apuseni Mountains, which is the cover is on this slide. The volume includes also a documentary DVD with the recordings from the field. So a total number of 566 melodies were preserved, including different genres, as carols, going to the army songs, wedding songs, funeral songs, harvesting songs, old Stylian songs, modern songs, and dance songs, vocal and also instrumental. Although the collection focuses on vocal repertoire, in a village called Mogos, we encountered a surprising instrumental repertoire for violin, and I will talk later about this point. The declared purpose of the field research was to save the traditional musical values from the field and to offer a valuable material representative for this area. Therefore, the methods, tools, and working instruments were adapted to this goal. Before the actual field collection, there were done some preparation steps. After researching the area geographically and administratively, it was decided that the research would focus on the territory of Alba County, especially in some villages around the Arieș River. The next step was to establish the level of the research and knowledge of the area by studying the material already collected, and it was found just a volume published by Ioana with 64 vocal melodies. The researcher Ioana Baalbaki contacted through the local authorities, teachers and school directors, the people, and informing them about the intention to research this area. Okay. About the repertoire. So I will go now to the important idea of my presentation. The repertoire contained in the volume refers to occasional and non-occasional categories. The genres of musical folklore in general reflect aspects of everyday life of the community and of individuals. They represent a portrayal of people's concern, emotions, and activities that are either cyclical or unique. One of the very important criteria for a piece belonging to a specific repertoire is its function. I mean the purpose of the performance. In general terms, the function of the most song sang at specific moments during customs are ritualistic, ceremonial, or well-wishing. I chose just some genre for today to offer also a musical example from the entire collection. The first one is going to the army songs. Our musical productions emerged in Transylvania at the end of 18th century, coinciding with the establishment of mandatory military service. They were practiced during the ceremonial farewell of young men going to the army, which signified their temporary removal from the normal order of life. The songs are sang in group, exclusively by men with a strong male timbre. Some literary themes presented in the analyzed songs are preparing clothes and the luggages for departure, the pain of separation from family and loved ones, rebellion against unjust order, or desire of the beloved to accompany to one who is leaving from the army. I will offer now an example, a video example with recording from a concert with traditional Romanian Icoane ensemble, which is the ensemble from our institution. So it's a restoration. About the wedding repertoire, regarding the material selected from the collection, 8 bridal songs have been included. The ceremonial vocal song of the bride is the most significant ritualic song and well-known, focuses on the central character, the bride. The characteristics denote a common origin from several ancient occasional productions, such as ceremonial songs for funerals and harvest. The literary themes found in the bridal songs analyzed in this collection, some of them are the preparation of the crown, uncertainty about the future in marriage, separation from parents and loved ones, regret caused by leaving the parental home, and the carefree life of a girl. So I will also offer an example with a bride song sang by Icoane Ensemble, also on the stage. Now about the harvesting songs. Considering that the research area represents a mountain area, these harvesting songs are not proper for this area. In the field, it was explained to us that people used to go to harvest in the lands. Sometimes they stayed the whole season, and at the end they were paid with products for the work done, and thus ensured their bread for the whole year. A distinct phenomenon attracts our attention that we have not encountered before in other musical genres. Researching the biographical sources, we found that it is called huhurezat, and that is only found in the harvest songs of Apuseni Mountains. It is about an additional element at the end of musical stanza made up of undetermined sounds. And I will show you now an example from the field with this harvest song with huhurezat at the end of stanza.
Fruze verde de alune, ade apă la colune.
Not to every stanza. Okay. About the funeral repertoire, has three genres in this collection. It means song of fear, lament, and verse. About the song of fear is a representative category of this repertoire. It is performed in group and was a strong ritualic character. It is practiced during the funeral ceremony of a young person called Wedding of the Dead. The melodies have an archaic character with simple musical structure, a ceremonial rhythm, and tripodic verses. The literary content unfolds a true story of the tree. And now I will move to lament, the genre where we will also have an example. It is a genre intended for individual performance, serving a cathartic function to stop the emotional pain. From a melodic perspective, in the volume, there were identified two melodic types supported by a series of variations. And I propose you to listen a lamento. Lament. Among all occasional costumes, caroling stands out as the most important, both because of the participation of the entire village community and the rich ceremonial full of artistic expressions. The most representative genre in the volume is carols, almost 300 songs. The structure of carols is relatively uniform, with a few construction models standing out from the existing variants. The carols falls into the category of strophic forms in folklore, which includes stanzas made up by 2, 3, or 4 melodic lines. Among these lines, we also find forms with refrain, which represent an important morphological characteristic of the genre. Being sang in groups, carols have a simple melodic structure with few ornaments. Individual informants can distort the simplicity by personalizing the interpretation, personalization that may depend on their own performance style or the desire to improve the melody. The melody of the carols is generally characterized by stepwise motion, with laps rarely exceeding a perfect fifth. And now I will move to the last example. Although the collection focuses, as I already said, only to the vocal repertoire, in Mogos, in this village, we encountered a surprising instrumental repertoire for violin, thus including 17 pieces in the volume. It is worth mentioning, just as surprisingly, that in this village there are several violinists from multiple generations. And I propose to listen one of these examples. And in conclusion, I want to say some general characteristic of the melodies from these regions. Improvisatorical character with variants that affect both the formal and the rhythm melodic aspects. Melodic lines influenced by intervallic jumps from the melodies played at Tulnik, which use natural harmonics. In the spoken dialect, that are several phenomena that gives the local style a distinctive charm. Stylistically speaking, there is no uniformity in this repertoire within the volume. Traditional music, vocal music from Apuseni Mountains, with the most notable influences coming from the neighbored regions. And thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, dear Andra. And now I try to not asking. Maybe someone of our audience would like to ask our referent. Yes, please.
I have a lot of questions, but now I would like to thank you. Thank you very, very much for your presentations, all presentations. This part of conference was especially for me because it was absolutely ethnomusicologically field of this conference. When Larisa, yes, when Larisa started to sing, I was starting to cry. Yes, it was amazing. You have amazing voice and brakuje mi słów.
Touching.
Yes, it was very touching. So thank you very much. I'm dreaming about journey to Cluj-Napoca.
You are invited.
Yes. Recordings in regions about you told us. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Maybe, Andra, I would like to ask you, and maybe not even just you, maybe you. Do you have all regions in Romania in such richness of songs? Or only some regions are still richness of traditional music, of traditional singing, of traditional playing instruments? I know cities, but we have folk of citizens. But you are you are research villages. All villages in Romania are singing?
I can answer you, but only about Transylvania area.
Yes.
Because we have collection in our library and we go researching this area, but only in Transylvania. And there are a lot of collection during this 20th century and also field research made by our professor Ioana Baalbaki and others in 20 years ago, or 30 or 40 years ago, and and also in our time, there are regions in Transylvania. In other parts of Transylvania, I know there are colleagues of our from other institutions from Bucharest. They do research, but I don't know to express myself about this.
So I'm focused about it. I'm focused on it. If only one region is still singing, is still traditional, or
all the regions are still traditional, and they are different. I mean, the south of Romania has its own characteristic language.
The Moldavia,
the Dobrogea near the Black Sea, it's another
and about
language.
perspectives, what about students? They are still interested in it?
of course, if I can say from the perspective of the academic studies, for example, a lot of students are coming to our university to study, for example, this module that we have at our university that includes studying of traditional music.
Do you take them for the field research?
I take one student, but I can take more than one because we go 2 weeks and we must sleep and eat and I take to our academy.
So it is only for special students.
Yes.
What I can say also from my perspective is that, as I already mentioned in the presentation, I was lucky that the Professor Ioana Baalbaki took me with him and with other students, but separately in a way. I think this was the main thing that made me fall in love with this musical universe, and in a way I followed this career afterwards. So it was very inspiring for me.
Every research make it in his way. I go also with our Professor Ioana Baalbaki, but he goes from the morning until the evening and come back home. I prefer to go there and stay in the villages.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I understand. Okay, so thank you, Andra. And now I would like to ask you for the surprise.
So yes, let's close in an optimistic way.
We are thinking about a bright future song from Maramureș, Larisa area. And this song is called Mireasă Cununa Ta. This is mean bright your flower crown. And it was collected by Bela Bartók in 1913 in Ieud village. And it's about the moment when the bride maid brought the flower crown for the bride to carry
on the wedding.
On the wedding.
Mireasă
Ponieważ nasz gość specjalny, wykładowczyni, która otwierała naszą konferencję, obiecała, że się odwdzięczy teraz. Zapraszamy, pani Weroniko.
Zaśpiewam może tydzień po polsku, I will sing one of the Kurdian songs. Kurdian. It was
Szanowni Państwo, tak oto muzycznymi akcentami kończymy pierwszy dzień naszej konferencji, ale nie kończymy konferencji jutro. Przenosimy się do gościnnych pałaców w Ostromecku. Będziemy korzystać z projektu Bydgoszcz Miastem Muzyki UNESCO. Zatem zapraszam wszystkich jutro od godziny 10. Rozpoczynają się obrady w Ostromecku. My wyjeżdżamy o godzinie 9. Zapraszam wszystkich. Zbiórkę mamy, jeżeli będzie padało, w holu. Jeżeli będzie ładna, akceptowalna pogoda przed Akademią, o 9 ruszamy. Wstęp wolny na jutrzejsze obrady. Pozdrawiam wszystkich, którzy nam towarzyszą w sali wirtualnej i zapraszam do Ostromecka pod Bydgoszczą. Dziękuję wszystkim Państwu i mam nadzieję, że zobaczymy się w dniu jutrzejszym. Kontynuujemy nasze rozważania dotyczące folkloryzmów muzycznych. Dziękuję pięknie.